Hello, welcome to Outside Xbox. I'm Mike, joined by Jane, and welcome to this video brought to you by Outside Xbox and sponsor Exoprimal. Jane, I've been playing a lot of Exoprimal.
I know.
And there are a lot of dinosaurs who have personally wronged me.
Oh no.
And it's very important that we make them extinct again.
All right, dinosaur vendetta, let's go.
It's happening. So if you're not familiar with Exoprimal, we've played a bit of it on the channel already. Well, I didn't. There was a dinosaur who sounded an awful lot like me.
Mike was unavailable.
I was unavailable that day, but fortunately a Tyrannosaurus stepped in to represent the dinosaur perspective on Exoprimal.
Dinosaurs coming in from the right, coming in hot. I'll punch them.
Now I assume we're all adhering to the Geneva Convention, folk.
Doesn't apply to dinosaurs, I looked it up.
What do you, oh,
The
what?
dinosaurs didn't sign the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, dinosaurs can't sign anything, they haven't got hands.
But it's a great multiplayer game. It's a sort of 5v5 PvE, so player versus environment shooter, but with little PvP elements as well.
PvD, player versus dinosaurs.
Player versus dinosaur, yeah. And over the course of the game, there are many types of dinosaur, all sorts from across history and a little bit more.
Across prehistory.
Prehistory, indeed.
Now what's this? I thought you loved dinosaurs.
Not anymore, Jane.
Oh no.
After multiple hours of Exoprimal, they've all become my mortal enemies. But there are 7 dinosaurs in particular that have raised my ire.
Okay.
And I'm going to run through them now. First of all, raptors, right? We're all familiar with raptors.
Yeah.
Now, in Jurassic Park, right, raptors were super clever, right? They could open door handles, they could be clever girls, all that stuff. Well, Exoprimal puts that pro-raptor propaganda to bed because in this game they're extremely thick.
Oh.
They're probably the stupidest enemies you fight, but the problem is you are fighting approximately 1 billion of them at a time.
Okay.
There are just, not 1 billion, but genuinely thousands and thousands of raptors.
Something tells me I won't have the luxury of collecting data here. We can't afford to lose what we've pulled in so far.
So these are the sort of like zombie runners from your sort of zombie game, but as dinosaurs, they will swarm you. They all do like little bits of damage, but the more there are, the more chance there is that you'll just get bitten to bits.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, and they come out in like literally thousands. At one point, there is a brilliant. So just to explain a little bit of how Exoprimal works. It's an online game, and all the stuff you do is online, including in the story mode. So every single mission in the story mode is actually an online match against real players. Well, most of them. There are, however, sort of story beats within those matches as well. Some of them are like individual missions where there are no other players and you're doing your own thing.
Right.
They're sort of instanced just for you and your teammates. So it's little co-op missions.
Well, we meet again, huh, guys?
But then occasionally there are missions that are an online match against some other players, but also story stuff happens. And the story thing that happened to me that made me genuinely laugh out loud was one point in one of the missions, your gaze is sort of directed to the top of a skyscraper where a big portal opens, and I think 2,000 raptors cascade down the side of a skyscraper. You don't have to imagine it, because I'm going to show you what it looks like.
Over here, a raptor swarm is cresting over the Ibius Corporation building. The tower provides a striking backdrop for the raptor cascade. I advise you to prepare your strategy while the raptors fall to the earth below.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly as you'd imagined. It is a cascade of raptors.
Impervious to full damage.
Well, apparently so, yeah, because they land and immediately start biting me on the head and
They land
neck.
on each other.
yeah, exactly. It was quite the thing to behold. So yeah, the raptors, they have wronged me en masse. It's all about volume with the raptors. They're not clever. They're not gonna, like carefully flank you and,
They don't need to.
They don't need to because they
They got
will
numbers.
swarm all over you.
Dinosaur call.
So yeah, with the raptors, it's not really about outsmarting them. It's more about sort of area of effect attacks, right? So Deadeye's rifle grenade will just blow a load of them up. Even Vigilant, the sniper, has like a sort of upgraded sniper boost thing on LT and RB that will like cut a swathe through the raptors. So those are your best strategies. It's not about, you know, flanking or anything like that with raptors. It's just about
Crowd control.
crowd control.
Okay.
And so yeah, raptors need to be made extinct.
Watch out,
again.
raptors.
I don't care about what a miracle of science it is that they're back. We need to get them back in that whole extinction bin. All right, second dinosaur needs to be made extinct. Ankylosaurus, allegedly a herbivore. Real ornery jerk dinosaur, basically.
Well, they don't want to eat you. They just want to
They
kill
just want
you.
to smash you. They just want to smash you. So obviously, if you're not familiar with this dinosaur, it has a lot of armored plating. It's got a head a bit like a snapping turtle, and then it's like armor plating on the back. And what that means, in very practical terms, in the game, is that if you're firing a load of bullets and they're hitting the armor, they're doing nothing for you. Maybe like tiny wands of damage, little wands popping out of the armor.
Singles.
So you've got to try and get at the soft underbelly of this enormous. I mean, they're big boys. Boys and girls. Let's say. I wasn't going around checking.
I needed that.
So basically, this soft underbelly is what you're supposed to be targeting. You will get increased damage there. The problem is quite often that soft underbelly will be surrounded by raptors. So you can't even see it for a start. That's the problem.
Raptors again.
Yeah.
Raptors.
I thought I'd made my feelings clear, raptors. So what you might be thinking is, well, the face is all kind of snapping turtley, looks kind of armoured, there's armour going over the head. Right, fine. I'll head round the back to try and find... I was going to say an opening, but let's not say that. What is there is a giant club-like tail, Jane.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember that from the
remember
little
that.
picture books
From
at school?
Dinosaurs,
Yeah. Well, you're going to get a face full of it if you head round the back
Ooh.
there. The Ankylosaurus is all about smashing you to bits with its giant club-like tail.
Okay.
So definitely a dinosaur to deal with from a distance. And what I will say is I've a canny strategy for making these ones extinct.
Okay.
And that is, if you do enough damage within a short period of time, they'll occasionally like flip over onto their backs. You know, like a dog like looking for tummy tickles.
Yeah.
Right, and then you tickle its tummy with a lot of lead.
That's a real
basically.
evolutionary dead end.
Yeah,
The
here it is,
instinct
yeah.
to roll over on your back
And it
when you're
goes,
being shot.
ah, and then you just unload all of your weapons into it while it's stunned.
Whatever works.
And that's the quickest way to get rid of an Ankylosaurus, if one should happen to appear in your garden, for example. Who knows with science? It happened at the end of the second Jurassic Park film. What's to say it can't happen to you?
Summon raptors.
Triceratops.
Classic. My favourite.
Classic,
Probably.
cuddly herbivore image again,
Yeah.
right? Based on this Jurassic Park propaganda where one of them had a little bit of a dicky tummy, needed some help. In this game, do not mess with Triceratops. Now, evolution-wise, you don't end up with 3 horns on your face unless you're going to be charging at people with those horns pointing forward, and that is exactly what the Triceratops does. This is the attack that you need to avoid if you're fighting a Triceratops. It's not even just a case of it will charge into you and damage you. It can actually collect you and carry you away from your teammates. Now, this being a sort of 5-person kind of team-based shooter, what you are looking to do is remain close to your teammates so that each of your abilities, whether you're the, the healing witch doctor, or you're the tank-like roadblock, or you're the, bullets and explosives Deadeye, you kind of want to be operating as a unit. So if
Can't
you
afford to be carried off by a Triceratops.
if you get carried off by a Triceratops to the other side of the area, you're outside of your healing zones.
Yeah.
You're much more isolated and much
you're being
more likely to
gored
be.
by
And you're being also,
horns.
yeah. Additionally, you're being gored by horns. So yeah, you need to really work out what you're doing with the Triceratops and watch out for that charge attack. The other problem is that obviously when it's charging at you, your instinct maybe your instinct is just to shoot at it. That seems like a sensible thing to do. 2 words for you, Jane: armored frill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's got a huge armoured frill, all
Turns out it was
bone.
bulletproof all along.
It's leathery skin stretched across bone,
wow.
and it does nothing, basically. So you can try and shoot it in the head as it's charging at you. Not a good strategy. Again, you want to be behind maybe. Doesn't have the club-like tail of the ANKYLOSAURUS. Get behind or to the side and shoot it in the flanks. Yeah.
Shame. They're cute though.
Well, that's how they get you, James, by being adorable.
Yeah.
What I would suggest, my strategy would perhaps be to use one of your evasion tactics. So, for example, Deadeye has like a dodge roll type evade on left bumper. Useful when you're being charged by a Triceratops. Vigilant, the sniper, can have a double jump, basically, which will allow you to leap directly over the charging Triceratops. And if you've saved some of your special sniper bullets and things, you can do the thing where you'll pause in midair and fire a shot.
That would look cool.
It would look extremely cool if I could ever pull it off reliably. I can't. I don't have the skill. Next dinosaur that needs to be made extinct, Dilophosaurus.
Summoning Dilophosaurus.
Oh, what, the spitty ones?
Yes, despite that having literally no basis in scientific fact
Is that right?
whatsoever,
Shocked.
despite that being a confection by Hollywood.
Spielberg, what have you done?
What have you wrought? Well, what he's wrought is me getting spat on in Exoprimal repeatedly.
Oh, so Exoprimal also subscribes to the spitting Dilophosaur.
The enemy data key has...
Correct.
Okay, fine.
It's got the spitting thing, it's got the neck frill, all your favourites / least favourites are here. Yes, Dilophosaurus is in this game, and obviously what you're trying to avoid is allowing them to get off that spit attack, right? It's a kind of poisonous, noxious substance that will cause you like ongoing poison damage.
Even through your exosuit.
I guess it just seeps in through all the cracks. Yeah, I spilled beer on my laptop keyboard once, and I spent ages I spent ages with rubbing alcohol and Q-tips trying to clear that up, and it's never been the same again, let me tell you. So yeah, I'd imagine it's exactly the same deal with an exosuit. All that gob gets sort of drains into all the servos and stuff, and it causes you damage, causes you problems. Fortunately, they do give you a bit of warning in that you can see the frill going before they're about to unleash the attack.
Summoning Dilophosaurus.
So they're not necessarily as deadly as some of the other dinosaurs you've been up against, but they're a real pain. Anything that does you ongoing damage, particularly when you're also being swarmed by a bunch of probably raptors, those jerks, is a problem. Believe it or not, though, there is one element of Dilophosaurs in Exoprimal that is more realistic than Hollywood's interpretation.
Okay.
And that is that in the movie, they made Dilophosaurs smaller so they wouldn't be confused with raptors.
Is that why?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
In reality, they were around the same size as the sort of raptors.
But in reality, raptors were smaller than in the movie.
Yes, but the raptors in the movie were based on Deinonychus, which is the sort of bigger.
So real raptors are smaller and real Dilophosaurs were bigger?
Yes, but they are big in this game. They are large, much larger than they appear in the film.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay.
Super realistic there.
Good.
I think,
question mark?
I think also the thing is that, you know, you're not going to confuse them with raptors because you'll already be confused because you're just surrounded by dinosaurs. So you're already confused. They might as well be the correct size of a Dilophosaurus. But yeah, there you go. If you want a more realistic recreation of a Dilophosaurus than Spielberg,
Exoprimal.
Narrowly, Exoprimal's your game. Now, the next dinosaur I think needs to be made extinct, I'm pretty confident isn't a dinosaur that ever roamed the Earth 65 million years ago.
Well, we can't be sure, but go on.
Rumour has it, they were invented for gameplay reasons, and they are the NEOSAURs.
Okay.
Right, so this is Exoprimal playing fast and loose with evolutionary biology and just introducing some fun, interesting, weird dinosaurs to ruin your day. The one I guess you'll most obviously notice are the gas NEOSAURs. So these are
these guys.
Yeah, they're sort of dinosaurs with big wobbly orange
Gas
growths.
bags?
Yeah, gas bags. You know, flopping
Gross.
around. It's really horrible. Flopping around on their back, and if they get too close, they can explode.
Summoning raptors.
Hideous, horrendous.
Talk about evolutionary dead ends.
Yeah. Well, you say that, but when bees sting something, they die, right? Their butt comes off or whatever.
You're saying it's a defensive mechanism.
Yeah. To save the hive, I guess. I don't know.
Predators.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever it is.
Okay.
It's bad news for you because
Sure.
these things go pop and it's bad. They're not the only Neosaurs, there's a ton of them. Ton of these sort of weird mutant dinosaurs. There's sniper Neosaurs, which will cunningly hang back from the battle. So while you're in the melee, covered in raptors out the wazoo, they'll be just hanging out somewhere high up maybe and
With sniper
firing,
rifles?
not with sniper rifles, but firing purple projectiles out of their own purpley gas bags or whatever.
Oh no.
Summoning gas Neosaurs.
So yeah, you've got to really keep an eye out for those because they'll just be raining down bad
Projectiles.
things to you. Yeah,
Bioorganic
exactly.
projectiles.
Yeah,
Gross.
and this sort of Neosaur concept is applied to a lot of different dinosaurs in the game. I don't want to spoil any of them, but there are some Neo dinosaurs that you are going to be very, very upset when you meet. There is one Neosaur that, I don't want to come out here saying that any of these dinosaurs are good.
You're no dinosaur lover.
I'm no
but-
dinosaur lover, but
Yes.
there is one called the Trigger Neosaur.
The enemy team has taken the lead. I will provide a trigger Neosaur. It may turn the tide of battle.
Okay.
And it is gold. It's a sort of like
Ooh.
golden gas bag Neosaur.
Right.
And if you kill yours before the enemy kills theirs, they end up with a bigger dinosaur threat in the next round.
Trigger Neosaur's defeat confirmed. Your individual scores will determine the strength of the upgraded dinosaurs attacking the enemy team.
So as soon as you see this golden Trigger Neosaur, make it your absolute priority to go and kill that thing as quickly as possible, because then you get this sort of upgrade to the amount of dinosaurs the enemy has to deal with, or the ferocity of the dinosaurs that the enemy has to deal
So
with.
we like that guy.
Is it? Yeah.
The golden.
Well, as dinosaurs go, it gets a pass. I still need to make it extinct, but I need to make it extinct in
Faster.
a real hurry
Okay.
so that I beat the other team and get the choice achievement that you get for killing it. All right, we've got another one for the extinction list.
Tell me.
Mike's
Hit list.
SH1T list
Yeah.
of dinosaurs, and that is SINORNITHOSAURUS, which
Oh.
are the smallest dinosaurs in the game. And
How small are we talking?
like
Tennis ball?
chicken size,
Chicken
almost.
size,
Yeah, I
okay.
would say. Tennis ball would be easy. You just stamp.
Depends how many tennis balls.
Yeah, I suppose that is the thing you always have to
That's the
consider
raptor strategy.
in Exoprimal is how
Yeah.
many of these things are coming at you. Yes, SINORNITHOSAURUS is an annoying little grabby chicken-sized
I remember
dinosaur,
these.
and they will literally clamp to your exosuit and ruin your ability to achieve just about anything, really. They'll disable some of your sort of abilities and things like that, and they'll be doing you damage as they're biting.
Summon SINORNITHOSAURUS. Summon Raptors.
They're just super duper annoying, and because they're so small, they're extremely difficult to hit. We're talking like ankle height to one of these exosuits. So as soon as they come sort of rushing out of the portal, you really want to focus on clearing them out as quickly as possible, because they will ruin your day.
Summon SINORNITHOSAURUS.
You're my best.
They are less deadly than most of the dinosaurs in this game, but they are also the most annoying. They're just by far the most irritating little dinosaurs in there, which is why they're on my extinction hit list. My only advice to you is to maybe use maybe an exosuit like Roadblock, who has a kind of way of drawing aggro. You know, he kind of does that sort of shield banging thing.
So
which-
just
yeah.
come and get me chickens.
Yeah, so
and
maybe
then everyone
allow
else
the
can deal
chickens
with
to
it.
swarm your friend, preferably who is playing as Roadblock,
Yep.
while you pick them off at your leisure. That's the only strategic opportunity I have for you. Otherwise, just kill them all as quickly as possible, because they are going to ruin your day. All right, the final dinosaur I feel like needs to be made extinct is CARNOTAURUS, which it comes from the Latin. Carno comes from the Latin for meat.
Meat, yeah.
And Taurus, you'll
Yeah.
know from like
From
astrology and
astrology.
stuff, is the bull.
Okay.
So it basically means meat-eating bull. I think it's got a couple of little tiny horns, but basically it's like a miniature, more maneuverable T-Rex. If what you thought about the T-Rex was what it really needed to be, was more maneuverable.
Compact version.
A compact, yeah,
Right.
sports T-Rex.
Sporty version. Okay.
Sportier version of the T-Rex.
Right.
Then this is your guy.
I need that.
Now, I want to put it out there that actually seeing a CARNOTAURUS isn't always bad news, because it's one of the first dinosaurs that you will get as a Dominator. Now, you'll remember that the Dominator is a system by which you get to control a dinosaur temporarily during the match.
Right.
So there's a chance that the CARNOTAURUS that you see is actually your teammate wreaking havoc on the enemy.
Alright.
But I thought, on balance, because it could also be an enemy CARNOTAURUS controlled by the enemy, or it could be just a CARNOTAURUS that has been thrown in by the AI as a threat, on balance, they need to be made extinct. They are extremely dangerous. They are, like I said, a more maneuverable T-Rex, so they do a lot of damage, but they've got this sort of like hopping sideswipe thing, which is just brutal. And it is entirely possible for one of these things to basically wipe your entire team out in one go. And you've got to be really careful, because in these multi-stage 5v5 PvE sort of matches that are, I think, pretty much unique to Exoprimal, if you are unlucky enough to suffer a total party wipe, you have no one left to revive anyone, you have to start that bit of the mission again.
Yep.
Damage critical.
And you will never ever catch back up to the other team, because what you're doing at the same time, your two 5-player teams are competing to complete the objectives faster than each other. And if you lose your entire team, you will be put right back to the beginning of that particular dinosaur cult. So it's really bad news, and the CARNOTAURUS is often at the centre of that bad news, making a big mess of you and your teammates. So yeah, my tip, if you can manage it, or my preference, I would say, this isn't necessarily a tip because it really is the coward's way out, but I prefer to play as the character Vigilant, who is the sort of sniper exosuit.
Right.
And I will position myself as far away from the CARNOTAURUS as possible and just try and take pot shots with the sniper.
You're mine. Overdrive ready.
The problem is that certainly when the AI is controlling CARNOTAURUS, they are extremely easily aggroed. So you can do big damage by hitting them in the head. That is the weak spot. It's not a very weak spot. The entire dinosaur is strong, but the head is the weak spot on this particular dinosaur. But it will immediately be aggroed and it will come after you like furious dinosaur.
And you would be.
Yeah, as you would be. It's not the only Dominator. There are other Dominators. You can play as a Triceratops. You can play as a T-Rex as well.
Cool.
But yeah, that is the one, I think, certainly in the early game. And there's a lot of game in Exoprimal, just hours and hours and hours of sort of missions to play within the story mode, the Dino Survival story mode. Normally, more often than not, in the first sort of, I would say, quarter to a half of the game, what you will find rampaging through your entire team is probably a CARNOTAURUS. So keep an eye out for that guy, and if you get the option,
make him extinct.
Make him extinct.
Dinosaur cult.
That is just a look at some of the dinosaurs you'll be facing in
Exoprimal.
Just a sampler of the jerk dinosaurs that will be ruining your day in Exoprimal. Obviously, you're extremely well armed. You have the tools. Do you have the talent is the question. And as I say, this isn't even really the half of it. You know, there are mutated dinosaurs, for example. I'm not going to spoil what they look like, but imagine what a Neo T-Rex might involve. You'll love it. And by love it, I mean hate it as it crunches up your bones. Those are dinosaurs that I think need to be made extinct right now. You can do your part by downloading the game on Game Pass and playing it right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, brought to you by OutsidexBox and sponsor Exoprimal, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
You're my backstop.
Dinosaur cult.
This was the most anti-dinosaur video you've ever made.
Well, I think there's too much pro-dinosaur propaganda out there. All this clever girl stuff.
Luke
They're
goes
not
away.
that bright.
I can't believe Luke's away for a few days and
We've
Mike's
become
on
an
his
anti-dinosaur channel.
dinosaur hate video. Yeah.